Hi, this is Terry Bach, and welcome to the It's My Time Now mini summit, How to Redesign Your Life on Your Terms. So for women over the age of 50, it's often an awakening of kind of coming out of this fog of finally realizing it's my time now. You've been so busy up until now taking care of other people, maybe you still are, and your job, your business, but you haven't been very good at taking care of yourself. So you might be looking back in your earlier life and thinking, oh, that thing that I wanted to do, I haven't gotten to that yet. Or maybe it's shifted for you, or maybe you just don't have any idea yet what that next part of your life will look like. So I have brought together some amazing experts who are going to be talking about the topic of women over 50 and redesigning your life on your terms. Each of our experts will be talking about it from their own specific and unique point of view. So today I've invited Meriam Boldewijn as our expert. Meriam is a devoted wife, inspiring author, caregiver advocate, motivational speaker, and business entrepreneur. She's the author of Caregiver 2.0, From Burnout to Powerhouse, and the founder and proud owner of Caregiver 2.0, 6-week online program that offers support, coaching, and life skills to caregivers all over the world. Welcome, Meriam. So happy to have you.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. I'm so excited. Thank you for inviting me.
You are
I
so welcome.
can't I can't wait to have this conversation with you.
Thank you. So let's start out by telling us, who is Meriam? Tell us how you got to where you are now. I know it's been quite a journey for you.
It was quite a ride. Who is Miriam? I am, like you said before, I'm a devoted wife, a caregiver advocate, and today I am a happy, healthy 50 plus woman. I have traveled across the globe with my husband. We are addicted to traveling. And I was the owner of a plus size web shop in exclusive women's clothing, plus size women's clothing. And yeah, today I'm a happy woman who lives her life to the max. But you have to know it wasn't always like this. There was a time when I was the caregiver, the cook, the cleaner, the driver, working full time. In 1998, I met my husband. So 23 years ago, I met my husband, and he was a diabetic. And in 1999, 1 year after we had been together and traveling and enjoying life,
Right.
he started suffering from kidney failure.
Mm.
And then our journey began, the journey of hospital in, hospital out. Um, it was it was such an hectic time. I can't describe how exhausted I was. And
That.
in 2001, he started with dialysis
Mm.
because his kidneys, I think they functioned for only 8%
Oh
at a
my
certain
gosh.
time. So
Wow.
that's nothing. At that time, we weren't married yet.
Mm.
We were not married yet.
Wow.
And in 2003, he finally had a kidney pancreas transplant surgery. He received
Deal.
two
Yes.
organs. So in those 4 years, Miriam was the caregiver, the cook, the cleaner, the driver, working full time, doing everything except taking care of herself. And it wasn't until a social worker asked me the question in the hospital, Miriam, how are you doing? Terry, I cried and sobbed for 15 minutes
Mm.
because of the heaviness that was all on my shoulders.
Sure.
And I was mad at myself because I didn't want Martin, my husband, to see me crying
Mm,
because I thought I could do it all by myself, but I thought wrong.
right.
And when I came home that night, I looked in the mirror and asked myself, Miriam, what are you going to do for you? What about Miriam? What if something bad happens to you?
Right.
I knew the answer, but I couldn't get those words out of my mouth. I simply couldn't get them out of my mouth. And I asked myself the question again, Miriam, what are you going to do for yourself? And I cried again. I cried again.
Wow.
Today I can talk about this
Sure.
without crying, but it wasn't easy. I had to do something. I had to find a way how can I get to the next level? How can I be a better caregiver? How can I be a better person? I didn't know. And that's when they found out that I burned out.
Sounds like the talking to the social worker was kind of a wake-up call for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. I was mad at that woman at that time.
I'm sure.
I was really mad because they could see a vulnerable Miriam. And I had been bottling up all those years. When people asked me, oh, do you need help? No, I got it. Do you, Miriam,
Mm-hmm.
can I? No, I got it. Why? Because I thought that asking for help or accepting help was a sign of weakness. And now
Mm.
that I think back, it was not asking for help or accepting help. That was a sign of weakness.
I think we're
So
socialized that way, especially as women, not to ask for help.
exactly. So I started with, I had to find out what techniques and tools could help me
Mm-hmm.
get me to the next level, the next
Right.
best version of me. And I took baby steps because it didn't happen overnight, not at all. It didn't happen overnight. I'm not going to lie about that part. It took me months before I could learn how to do certain things, to how to use these techniques, these tools to get me to the next level. And
Okay.
that's how I started. I took baby steps, but I took action.
Sure. So how long were you, I mean, I'm guessing there's a level of caregiving still with your husband.
Yes.
How long would you say you were doing the more intensive?
Um, the thing with my husband is that after his transplant surgery, he needed two major surgeries.
Right.
Because of the diabetes, he suffers from neuropathy. He can walk with a pin in his foot without feeling anything
Oh
because
gosh.
the nerves in his foot
Right.
they are damaged.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Not only that, he had many eye surgeries because of diabetes. We lost count. He had groin rupture. He broke his ankle,
Wow.
and that surgery didn't go as planned. So he needed orthopedic shoes.
Okay.
So we went from the one surgery to the other. And that has been going as of 1999 until I think 20, 2017, he had the last surgery.
Wow. Okay. That's a long time.
That's a long time, but my burnout, that happened in late 2003, early
Okay.
2004.
Okay.
And that's when I started looking for which techniques could help me to
Okay.
make sure that I don't burn out again. That's a promise I made. Miriam,
Okay.
you're not going to burn out again.
So could you share one thing even that you did to take care of yourself?
One thing I did, everybody thinks it's self-care, but before I could do self-care, I needed to give myself permission to see possibilities and grab opportunities. And with this, I mean, when Martin was on dialysis, as much as we wanted, we couldn't go on a diving holiday.
Mhm.
It was not medically wise.
Right.
But we could
Yes.
go to a resort and go snorkeling.
Oh,
That's what I mean with, I started looking for possibilities. It was possible to travel, but I had to make sure that there was a dialysis center, or there was, a nephrologist, that there were certain things to make sure that whenever something happened to him, we could go to the hospital. That's what
right.
I mean with looking for possibilities. We could go on holidays so that I could fill my cup and he could fill his cup.
Right.
That's what I mean with possibilities, looking for
Okay.
possibilities and grabbing opportunities. If my neighbors, for instance, ask me, Miriam, do you need me to drive you to the hospital? Yeah, because then
Yeah.
I don't have to do it myself. Then I can just enjoy the ride.
So you
And
learn to accept help.
I learned to, it wasn't easy,
No, I'm sure
but I
not.
learned to accept help and
Yeah.
ask for help too. Ask for help. Like, can you do me a favor? Can you cook for me? Can you prepare a meal for me?
Sure.
Because then I don't have to do it myself, and I
Right.
can spend that time doing something I enjoy.
Right.
That's self-care.
Yes. So I know that, there was a time when Martin, your husband, stabilized a bit. And so he was in a better place. And then you became the caregiver of your brother.
Yes,
So tell
yes.
us more about that.
In 2011, our mom died. Our mom gained her
Mm,
wings, and it was in 2012, by the way, one day after my birthday, November 7th. I'll never forget that day, 2012. Martin called me. I was at the office, and he called me and he said, Miriam, can you please call Patrick, my brother? I
okay.
said, I'm at the office, hon. Why should I call him? He said, hon, I really don't have time to explain, but he just called me and he didn't sound right. I said, okay. So I called my brother Patrick right away. And Terry, after 5 seconds, I hung up because he wasn't talking right. I
Mm,
called the paramedics right away and I told him, listen, I just talked to my brother. He was talking very strange. I think he's having a stroke. This is
mm,
his address. So when I hung up, I closed my computer. I told my colleague what was happening, and I ran out of the office. I had to take the subway to go to Patrick. And while I was running to the subway, I called him again. And he sounded very, 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 I don't know what words I could use to describe it. The only thing I know is that I heard the sirens of the ambulance. And I asked
oh,
him, can
good.
you please open the door? And he said, I can walk. He couldn't talk
Mm,
anymore. I can, but I what I understood is I can't walk.
right.
And they found him behind the door, the front door, because he tried to open it, but he was paralyzed on the right side of
Sure.
his
Oh,
body. So when I got there, the paramedics were there, the police, the firemen. Martin was there, his twins were there. And when I saw Patrick, I wasn't happy with what I saw. And the first 48 hours, we were not sure if he would make it. When we talked to the medical professionals, the neurologist in the hospital, they told us, well, he had a severe stroke and he is partially paralyzed.
he is what, paralyzed?
Partially paralyzed. He was
Oh,
paralyzed on the right side of his body.
okay. Okay.
And so fear, anxiety, exhaustion, they knocked on my door again. I could feel
Sure.
the emotions. And that's when I realized, um, Terry, I went to the hospital every single day to
And you're still
shower.
taking care of your husband.
Yes.
Ah,
But Martin didn't need as much care as
right.
before, thankfully.
Yeah.
I went to the hospital every day to shower Patrick together with other family members. You know why? The nurses, they did all they could in the short amount of time they had for their patients.
Mm-hmm.
But so they could freshen him up every day, but showering only once a week, sorry. So we talked to the medical professionals and asked permission to shower Patrick every day. But he still had an IV, he had a catheter, he was
Mm-hmm.
connected to some medical devices.
Sure.
And they said, well, yeah, sure. But that's not only that. Seeing my brother, a grown man, naked in
Yes.
his
That would
full
be hard.
glory,
Right.
it was, it was quite embarrassing. It felt awkward. And we have a tendency when posed with something so delicate, so intimate, we can shy away. But
Mm-hmm.
there was no way I was going to let embarrassment win from me because his health was a top priority.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that showering him daily, it could speed his recovery.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because when you feel fresh, you feel,
Yeah.
um, and it really helped because after 3 months after his stroke, he started walking and talking again.
Wow.
3 months. The doctors told him, you can't walk again, you can't talk again. And I could see him thinking and searching for words. And he said, I will walk again. And a couple of days later, he took the first step. His arm isn't functioning for 100%, his right arm,
Mm-hmm.
but he can walk and talk again.
It's
And
amazing.
I'm sharing this story because what I learned from this, Terry, is that we should never underestimate our talent and power.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got to the next level. The next better version of Miriam. I was able to get him to the next level.
Exactly. Yeah. You gave him hope. You gave him
Hope,
hope. Mm-hmm.
hope and faith, hope and faith. So since then, I became his caregiver together with the family, thankfully. Um, and today it's 8 years later. He walks again. He can take care of his many things. He can take
Okay.
care of himself, thankfully, but he still needs care. He still
Mm.
needs care.
Okay.
So it's it was really scary, and taking care of two people is and taking care of myself. I needed to take care of myself as well.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So
I know you're going to
and
share a little of that later.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, so I know that you are also an author. And so what led you, what inspired you to write your story? And why do you think that's significant for you?
the reason I let me tell you the story why how I got to write my story. Last year, it was August 5th or 6th, 2020. I was talking to a friend whom I met. She lives in New York, and we met online, and we were trying to see and talk to each other, a meet and greet via Zoom. And on August 5th or 6th last year, we finally had our meet and greet. And she said, hey, I am Sarah, and this is my life, and this and that. But who's Miriam? Just like you asked me.
Yeah.
And I started talking and telling my story. And I was so busy talking, I didn't pay any attention to my screen. And when I looked at my screen, I saw that she had tears in her eyes. And I apologized. I said, oh, sorry, it wasn't my intention to make you cry. Maybe I should write a book. And she said, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you. you can help many people by sharing your story.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I said, no, you're kidding. Come on. She said, no, I would be honored to help you because I'm a writing coach.
Oh, wow.
And 2 weeks later, more than 2 weeks later, August 22nd, 2020, I started writing my book.
Oh,
My
thank God. I
story.
thought you were going to say you had written your book in 2 weeks. And I thought, whoa. Oh,
I started writing my book, and on June 10th, so a month ago,
yes.
published my book, Caregiver 2.0 from Burnout
So
to
let's
Power.
see it.
It's right here.
Wow.
Caregiver 2.0 from Burnout to Power Highs. And I'm going to explain my cover. The burnt match is my burnout.
Okay.
See, it's the burnt match.
Yeah.
But it didn't burn all the way.
Ah.
The flower that came out of it is my recovery.
Oh, that's wonderful. Beautiful.
The color orange is for the Netherlands. I live in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And the flower, it's a flower you see in the country I was born. You see it a lot in this country, Suriname, South America. I was born in South America, but I've been
Okay.
living in the Netherlands for more than 30 years. So the color purple was my mom's favorite color.
Oh,
So
okay.
I have my burnout on my cover, my recovery, my home country, Suriname,
Mm-hmm.
the Netherlands, the country I live, and my mom.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, this book, it's a quick read. Caregivers are so busy.
Right.
And I wanted to write a book with my story,
Mm-hmm.
techniques, and tools. I ask questions in my book. And the reason why I ask questions is there was a time when I needed to answer those questions myself.
And
Some of these questions,
they're probably not
sorry,
questions that caregivers think about when, because as you said earlier, you just kind of soldier on. You put your head down, you get everything done that needs to be done, and you're not really thinking about, you know, how can I take care of myself? All of those things that you're probably asking in your book.
yes. And so there are many things in my book. It's not just my story. It's my story. It's the questions I ask, because I would love for caregivers to think about the questions. I know they have the answers, but are you willing to say the answer? Are you willing to take action? Are you willing to give yourself permission to know that you can go to the next level?
Right. Yes.
So there are many things in my book, but the main thing is to get the reader, especially the caregiver,
Mm-hmm.
to the next level
Absolutely.
and have a better life, a life. I want them to have a life with peace and harmony while they take care of their loved one.
Absolutely. Get more balance in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I wanted more awareness.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why I wrote this book. You often hear the story of the patient.
Mm-hmm.
I am telling the story of the caregiver.
Right. Because you've lived it. So
Yes.
is there anything more? I know you've already shared quite a bit, but anything more that you learned from this experience? And then also,
Oh, yes.
how do you think it can help? How can others learn from it too?
What I have learned so much. It's incredible what I've learned. And I have written it down because I am here to share value. And I don't want to miss anything. The thing I have learned is that I had to ask myself the question, what part of my behavior and mindset did I had outgrown? In my case, it was, for instance, time management. I didn't know how to manage my time so I could take care of myself. And it can be in many areas. It can be time management, it can be self-care, it can be something else, but I had to find out what I had outgrown.
Mm.
And one other thing is that I had to ask myself, okay, what's keeping me from getting to the next level? And with this, I mean, I'm gonna give you an example. For instance, if you want to do self-care, ask yourself the question, what's keeping me from taking time for myself? What is keeping me from, for instance, loving myself? What's keeping me from writing 3 things I love about myself? What's keeping me from that? And these questions help me to um, get to the next level, to find out. I had to find out many things. And I found out those tools, those techniques I could use.
Right.
And that's what I learned. I learned how to love Miriam. I learned what my purpose is. I learned about Miriam. Who is Miriam?
Okay.
I learned so many things about me. I grew I grew personally, and because of my growth, I can help others now.
Yes. Yes. And you're in a better place. You're much happier than you were certainly when you were first taking care of
Definitely,
Martin. Yeah.
definitely, absolutely. So I have learned so many things in so many areas, and I'm
Right.
still learning. I always say I'm still a student. I'm still learning.
We all are. We all are. Yes. So,
I'm still learning.
what are some of the ways that we can all take care of our better care of ourselves, especially for the caregivers, but, for all of us really as women?
What you can do is what I just mentioned. That will really help you. For instance, one of the tricks, I
Mm.
wouldn't say trick, one of the tools I used is I used an affirmation every day. I am worthy of a wonderful life too. And
Mm.
so you as an individual.
That's a
I,
powerful one because in the work I do with women, what I see over and over is this belief, because I work more with limiting beliefs, but this belief of, and it's not something we tell ourselves necessarily, but I don't deserve happiness or I don't deserve whatever. And so we don't take care of ourselves because of that belief. And that's basically what you're saying too.
yes, exactly, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
This affirmation helped me get out of burnout city.
Yeah.
Every day in the mirror, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I am worthy of a wonderful life too. And this affirmation helped me. So find yourself an affirmation you love, and that can help you. Find yourself information you need in that area. Make it yours and implement it in your daily life. I say the information you need because there's
Right.
a lot of information out there, but you don't need all the information,
No.
the information you need. Um, and then start taking baby steps, but they take radical action. If you want to change your life, if you want to pivot, you have to take action,
Right.
because otherwise you will stay where you are right now. If you if it doesn't work the first time, it's okay. Learn from it
Yeah.
and take action again.
Right.
And when you do this. That was my experience. And once again, it can be in various areas: time management, self-care, self-love, self-confidence. You will see that your life will change in a positive
Mhm.
way. And when you see change, you will want more.
Right. Right.
And that's self-care. When I talk about self-care, some people think, oh, you're in the spa the whole day. As much as I would love to, I I can't go to the spa every day, every week, or every month. I
Right.
do a lot of things myself, and self-care is different for you, Terry. It's different for me.
Yes.
It can be that I get in my car and just listen to music for 10
Right.
minutes. It can be that I put on my favorite music and dance or sing. It can be that I'm just doing nothing
Hmm.
or read a book
Right.
or
Right.
go for a walk. Self-care is doing something you love.
Right. Exactly. Which is different for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I advise people: find information if you're looking for information, but only use the information you need at that time. That's important for you. Make it yours and implement it in your daily life and take action. Even
Right.
if you think you make mistakes, nobody's perfect. I had to learn to love my imperfection. But what I
Absolutely.
discovered
Yeah.
is that
Hmm.
my imperfection is somebody else's perfection.
Hmm. Yes. Those are all good, really good points.
Yeah.
So, Miriam, how can people get a hold of you? How can they get in touch with you?
Before I share all of those social media links, I
Which
would
will
like to,
be given
yeah,
to the audience. So, yeah.
what I want to say is that please use the information to share. Use the information I just shared. And even if it's only one or two nuggets, use them. And I'm really happy. I'm celebrating with you. And the other thing is that I would like to get in touch with people. I offer a free 20-minute call. I can talk to people if you want some guidance, if you want me to walk beside you. I'm inviting you to join my 6-week online program. In this program, we will meet every week for 1 hour via Zoom. I will hold you accountable for what you promised yourself. I will celebrate your accomplishments, even if it's 5 minutes, the 5-minute break you took for yourself. You know, things that are celebrated get repeated. So
Right.
people can get in touch with me via the call, the free
Hmm.
20-minute call, or they can go to my website, my Instagram. I do a lot of interviews, and all of the interviews are on YouTube, where I share nuggets,
Okay.
where I share tips on how to take better care of yourself, or you can deal with, for instance, anxiety. So there are several ways how you can get in touch with me.
Okay. And the 20-minute call you mentioned is your free gift
Yes,
for the audience.
yes,
And for the audience, just so you know, all you have to do is click on the button below this video, and it'll take you right to the sign up for the 20-minute call with Miriam.
yeah.
Is there any more
And
you want to say about the 20-minute call?
the only thing I can say is that when you book the 20-minute call, come prepared, because I want to see the best version of you. I want you to get to the next level, and that's a better level. You know, when I was transforming from caregiver 1.0 to 2.0,
Okay.
I had to believe that I could get to the next level. Believe. And I did it. Yeah.
So what about the people who may have just heard that and think, but I'm not there. I have no idea what the next level even looks like.
then they definitely should book the 20-minute
Okay.
call.
Right,
Then-
right. So you can
and
help them get that hope or
absolutely,
those
absolutely.
possibilities. Yeah.
And my book, you can get it on Amazon. It
Okay.
doesn't matter where in the world you live. It's on all Amazon websites. It's on the websites of Barnes and Noble. It's on the website of Target.
Okay.
It's
Wow.
on Goodreads. And this book, since June 9, one day before I launched it, but it was already on Amazon, it has been 3 times #1 Amazon
Oh,
to release. 3
congratulations. That's a big deal.
Thank you.
Yes.
3 times. I've
Wow.
taken pictures, I've shared it in videos. Unbelievable.
That's
I've been in the newspaper here twice. I've been on the radio last week.
wonderful.
People learn from Caregiver 2.0.
Absolutely.
It was always my intention to help at least one person.
Yeah. And I'm
And
sure
it's,
you have and will continue to.
yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on this series. I really appreciate it. And for the audience too, thank you for being part of the It's My Time Now mini summit. And be sure to stay tuned for our next interview, where another expert will be sharing her unique point of view about redesigning and living your life on your terms. I'll see you in the next interview. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.